This weekend has been the busiest yet to date when it comes to news in the flight sim region. Welcome aboard Flight Simmers, my name is Rowan and welcome back to another Information Alpha video. Today we're going to cover all major projects that were mentioned this weekend at FSExpo and more. Firstly, I just want to say that the expo definitely looked amazing and full of fun. However, we just couldn't make it this year, so maybe next year we can visit and meet everyone there. But it did look like everyone had a brilliant time. Now onto the first project, or dare I say multiple. BlueBirdSimulations have been extremely busy for the last couple of years creating their Boeing lineup. Their first aircraft that will be released is the 757, which includes the 200, 300 and freighter variants. Shervin, who is the CEO of BlueBird, has stated that their 757 will be the most accurate and immersive 757 that has been made for any flight simulator. It will release with a complex electrical system, simulating 20 electrical buses with their corresponding circuit breakers. The aircraft itself has an accurate flight model that has been tested and verified by over a dozen of real-world 757 pilots, along with the custom sounds recorded courtesy of Boris from Boris Audio Works. It will have accurate night lighting that has been extensively worked on, and then we have the other usual systems like air conditioning, which has been simulated to equalize with the surrounding environment, such as increased passenger count or even then the opening of the flight deck window. We also saw their EFB for the first time, which appears to be great as well. Now for the stuff you're probably most interested in, and that's the FMS. Shervin talked about the fully custom autopilot which has been built from the ground up in-house by the BlueBird team. Work on this started last year, and the system will include 3 separate flight computers, each working on their own circuit. The FMS will come with LNAV and VNAV, including the ability to perform RNAV procedures, as well as pilot entered waypoint speed and altitude restrictions for a one-to-one recreation of the real-world system. The plane will also be able to accurately fly curved courses and correctly follow complex paths, and will feature SimBrief integration on launch. Shervin finished by describing the system as a one-to-one representation of the real 757 FMS, which is very exciting as we haven't seen anything like this in a simulator before, for a 757 at least. Moving away from the FMS, Shervin also showed us the lengths they've gone to for the scale and looks of the aircraft. BlueBird has had access to a few 757s to measure all aspects of the aircraft to ensure a one-to-one scale in the sim, even stating that 3D scans of a yoke are accurate to 1mm, which is really accurate. Shervin also added that we will have the option to use either 2K, 4K or hybrid textures, so a mix of 2 and 4K, which is a major win for all of us, especially if you don't have a top spec computer. So well done BlueBird for that, for making your aircraft usable across the spectrum. Now moving on to the next project from BlueBird. We do have confirmation of which 767 they will be releasing, and that of course will be the 767-300ER. It has been a while since we've seen details on this project, and not a great deal of time has been spent on this project in all fairness, and rightfully so, as they need to focus on their 757 projects. However, they have been making their first renders of the flight deck, as you can see right now from the models in Blender. It was confirmed on the stage that the initial release of the 767 will be the 300ER variant, which is the most popular of the several that was manufactured by Boeing, and that variant will ship with both the General Electric and Pratt & Whitney engine options. The Rolls-Royce RB211 engine option will come sometime after as a free update. Simmers looking to get their hands on the 200 variants will also have to wait a little longer for these to be released, and will be a separate paid expansion pack, presumably requiring the 300 as a base pack. Shervin was clear that it is his goal to make the BlueBird 767 the most accurate and detailed one in any simulator, just like their 757 which they are aiming for. However, we will update you on the project when it ramps up later on in the year after the 757 release. But that's not it from BlueBird. They have also dropped a teaser for their following project after the 767, and this is actually their own standalone 787. In a short 2-minute video teasing the aircraft, we saw some exterior modelling work already completed on the airliner, including the GE9X engines, the cockpit exterior and also the tail of the aircraft. Given that the project has now been announced just a few months before the release of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it is unclear if the aircraft will be coming exclusively for 2024 or released for both 2020 and 2024 platforms. Now, in my own personal opinion, I believe that they should have waited until the release of the 757 for this project announcement, as they still have that plus the 767, so we most likely will not see the light of this project until at least 2026, and that's just a guess, based on the timelines for each project. But still very exciting to have a clean sheet 787 which doesn't require the premium deluxe edition of the simulator. Next up, we move to our favourite trijet from TFDi. On the FS Elite stage, TFDi announced that their Douglas MD-11 add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator will be released to the public on the 2nd of July. Developers from the company apologised for the various delays that have come with getting the product to a state of readiness for release, explaining that the delays to this point had been as a result of the team striving to achieve a high level of fidelity and detail within their simulation of the aircraft. Every onboard system is fully simulated in both auto and manual modes, according to the team, along with custom sounds, a custom FMC and autopilot system, fully modelled interior cabin, and fine-tuned flight dynamics tested by real-world pilots to ensure maximum realism. The MD-11 will retail for $70 USD, and users can opt for either the freighter or passenger variant of the aircraft at this price point. Users looking to pick up both models can pay an additional $10 to do so, and finally $5 US for an extended simulation package, bringing the total cost of the full add-on to $85 US. The MD-11 is being released for both P3D V4 and MSFS, with only one purchase needed to gain access to the add-on on both platforms, which I think is quite interesting as you will have access to both simulators for this aircraft. But support for MSFS 2024 is not officially confirmed, since the team say they know little details on how to work the new sim. But the intention is to support the product in 2024 when it is released. Also, TFDi first spoke about their new smart cars product, which is excellent news as their previous smart cars was brilliant back in the P3D times, and that pretty much covers everything from TFDi. All very exciting stuff, and I look forward to seeing their products in the future. Now, staying around long haulers, PMDG has given access to a selection of content creators. Unfortunately, we wasn't one of them, but still, it's only round the corner for a release. However, it has been very enjoyable watching and virtually learning the systems through these creators. But we are still set to have the 777-300ER released tomorrow, which is extremely exciting, so we will see you in the skies cruising high up. Next up, we look at the upcoming fly-by-wire A380X project, which appears to be closer to release than what I thought. Fly-by-wire did release a 3/4 of an hour video showcasing the 380, completing a full sector from Las Vegas to San Francisco, showing all of the required systems to get the Super Jumbo there. And it appears that every system to get it from A to B is also functioning and accurate, which is super exciting, especially the brake to vacate, which is going to be the first in the simulator. Of course, there is still some work that is needed. For example, I noticed the vertical track system wasn't operable along with the OIS. However, this isn't the point of their showcase. They want to show that the Jumbo is operable, and that for sure smashed that one out of the park. From the sounds to the animations, it is truly amazing, and I am very excited to try out this plane when it releases. And that pretty much sums up all of the long haulers that are expected to release for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. As for 2024, however, we got the news confirming that the A330, as we previously saw in the trailer, is indeed being created by IniBuilds, not Aerosoft. It will include the 200 and 300 variants with different engine types, so that was a bit of a shock to us. IniBuilds is also the developer of the A400M and the Twin Otter, which was obtained by Aerosoft a little while back. So it really seems that IniBuilds has their work cut out for them, especially as they are also developing the 350 and the 380 for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and what I assume 2024 as well. And that's pretty much it from IniBuilds and the Microsoft side. However, in the closing seminar, Jorg and Sebastian announced one more thing, with Asobo Studios' most detailed aircraft to date. Coming as a default plane to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 will be the Boeing 737 Max. Now, this for sure came as a shock to everyone, especially for those in the crowd. But we don't have too much information on this aircraft as of this moment, except that they say it's Asobo's most detailed aircraft. So what does this mean? Will it actually be high fidelity or mid-level fidelity? We don't know. However, it will be interesting for PMDG as they are currently producing their high fidelity 737 Max, which is expected to release somewhat soon. And now the final project we will look at is coming from Flight Sim Studios, which has had their ups and downs from different projects. However, this may be the turning stone for them. They have announced their Boeing 727 freighter, which is expected to release at the end of July. And unlike their previous E-Jets, the Boeing 727 will not be an early access product and will be a feature complete on release day. Also, before people start to slate FSS for making this project instead of focusing on the E-Jets, this project was apparently created by a completely separate team inside of FSS who have no relation to the E-Jets. So before you jump on the bandwagon of hate, let's give them a chance and see what this other team has been able to accomplish. And that pretty much summarizes all of the major news from this weekend. It has been very hectic and for sure was a lot of information, but it does seem that all of these major projects are wrapping up and readying for their releases, which is very exciting to see. If there was any information that we missed in this video, then please make sure you comment it down below. We do read all of the comments and love responding to as many as we can. However, we would like to quickly ask if you could click on that like, subscribe and ding dong that notification bell, as it really does help support the channel. If you want to get more involved in the Information Alpha community, make sure you join our Discord as well. In there we talk aviation, plan future live streams and videos. So if you're into that, make sure you join. Thank you so much for making it this far in the video. It was a bit of a longer one. My name is Rowan and you've been watching Information Alpha. See ya!